Hello, this is James Marlowe. It's the 6th of February 2012. The time is 1941, and today I was involved in a class where we were teaching, it was a functional skills class for English, and we were teaching about the introduction to persuasive writing. And to do that, we were using, me and the teacher who organised this lesson, were using the model of the program Room 101, not the latest one. I haven't seen that, so I can't say, but the classic one with Paul Merton as the host. And the idea is this brings in persuasive writing, because you have to convince the host that what you dislike gets to go in Room 101, and that's pretty much the format of the show. So the students had to think of 3 things that they didn't like, and some of them struggled, which in a way is to be expected. I mean, you think of 3 things you don't like right now. It's difficult, isn't it? But after like 10 minutes, you could probably think of 1 thing, couldn't you? I could think of 3. I'll tell you them later. So some of the students, they're quite low ability, some of them, and some of them did struggle. One boy who I was sitting next to, I said, oh, what do you want to put in Room 101? And he said, Facebook. I said, oh, that's interesting. Why don't you like Facebook? And he said, oh, it's just, why would you want to go and watch people all the time and play on crappy little Farmville? And I said, yes, that's good. That's good. That's a good idea. So you're saying, because this is what you've got to do when you're a teacher, you've got to translate what they say into what you want them to mean. So what you're saying is there's more productive ways, there's better ways to spend your time. And he said, yeah, that's what I mean. I thought, brilliant, really good teacher. And then I said, oh, you should list some better ways you could spend your time. And he said, okay. I play an Xbox. I was like, what? See, the thing is, in his mind, you only do one thing. You game. Why would you game on Facebook with crappy Farmville when you could game on Xbox with good graphics and proper games? There wasn't anything else in his mind. And I said, well, you could argue that video gaming is more of a waste of time than Facebook, because it's not even vaguely social. I mean, I know some of it is these days, but often it's still not. I mean, you could play on it for ages, and after 8 hours, and no matter how many levels you'd climb, you'd still be in the same position in life. It can't help you. And he said, oh, well, I want to be a video game designer. And he got me there. It is in his professional interest to play video games if he wants to be a video game designer. Got me there. So then I had to build that into a correct teacher answer, so it didn't sound like I was a wally. So I said, oh, so you had a professional interest. It was about building your career. So he types this. Not Facebook, because it doesn't build your career. Unless you want to work for Facebook, in which case doing that is probably a good idea, being on Facebook all the time. So yeah, he got me there, and I had to think myself, what 3 things would I put in Room 101? And I thought, First thing, Americanisms. You know the ones I'm talking about. Oftentimes. I could care less. Let's go through. They're the 2 main perpetrators in this. Oftentimes is an awful expression, because the word times is redundant, because often, no matter where it's used, always refers to the concept of time. If you do something often, it's about time. It's a word all about time. You don't need to put, like, if it was in a Venn diagram, it would be under a section marked time. These are words about time. It'd be like saying all the time things like, oh, that's a very loud sound. Oh, that's very loud sound. Sorry, not a very loud sound, because that completely wrecks my point, doesn't it? Because you can have a loud sound. but you wouldn't use it as a noun phrase, kind of loud sound. That's very loud sound. Doesn't work. You don't need to say that the loudness is to do with the sound. It's implied because loud is always about sound, unless you're referring to, a really stripy t-shirt. You go, oh, that's a loud t-shirt. The next thing, oh yeah, I could care less doesn't make sense. I'm not going to go, it doesn't make sense grammatically because of this, it doesn't make sense because if you could care less, then there's still a chance that you could care less. But they mean that Americans mean that as couldn't care less. They say when they say I could care less in their heads, what they hear is there is no way I could care less. In which case you'd say couldn't care less. Second thing was you can't travel horizontally in this country by train, which sucks because I live in Oxford and have a girlfriend in Norwich, and that's west to east if you don't know the geography of that. Yeah, so you can't travel horizontally in this country really, because they'll all go through like London and Birmingham, the big cities, because that's trade. And the last thing was hate's a strong word. I actively dislike charity collectors in the street, in the high street. Now, it's not that I'm against Cancer Research UK at all. But I don't like having my day interrupted by being made to feel bad about not giving. And I will not give and they don't generally talk to me that much anymore because of the way I look. They look at me and think, he doesn't have any money. I don't know what gives it away. I don't know if it's my Che Guevara t-shirt or my Poundland bag which says, I'm a penniless student. But I find like I weave around them. It's different to the big issue, and because the people are less pushy the big issue. But with the charity collectors, they give beggars a bad name because they're like, "Hi guys, we're fun and cool and sociable and good looking, and I want your money for this really good cause. Do it or you'll feel bad." And I don't want that. And they even do like this. If you're wearing headphones. And it's not that I'm antisocial. I just don't want to walk down the road with fear of being bothered. I like to be left alone. And interestingly, nowadays, probably been on for a few years, but they don't ask for change anymore. They don't go around in buckets. The bigger charities ask for a subscription. They want you to, we're just trying to get people to donate £1.60 every month. I mean, £1.60 wouldn't break your bank, would it? And then I'd have to feel even more guilty because, it actually wouldn't break my bank. And I do need to sort out, giving. But it's very hard to sort out giving when you're in a position as I am where I don't have no income to speak of. The only income I have is income which I have to give back. So it's a loan, it's a student loan. So it's not really my money to give away. It's money I've already spent when I've got it. So I prefer not to spend it on just myself. That sounds kind of selfish now. But yeah, that's the way it is. And no, it wouldn't break the bank, but I'm also my family have helped me out a little, and then I'm spending their money, so I'm spending two people's money that isn't my own money. I just feel a little uncomfortable with. I mean, they know that I'll spend it on like books and going to Norwich and stuff because I told them, but I don't know. Ah, I started off with this fairly amusing, interesting idea for this vlog today. I just feel really bad now for not giving £1.60 every month to a charity. And the memory card's going to run. I can't believe how long I've been talking about this for. Maybe I should. I'm conflicted now. That's what vocalising your thinking does. Challenges and conflicts you. I'm going to have to think about this. But yeah. But even if you were a giver, you'd still have to combat them in the street. But it is for a good cause, and they do wear really bright t-shirts and smiles on their faces. So yeah, I'd put those in room 101. Good night.